Sweazy with Kentucky State University Nutrition. I just wanted to come back with you today to say we are about ready to start our stewed tomatoes. As I mentioned in our video earlier, this is the recipe that I wanted to do with you all today, and I took a little break from the video, got everything set up and ready in the best interest of time so that you could see the most important things. We have gotten our vegetables just about sauteed up. Our tomatoes have really thickened up a little bit. So now I'm ready to go ahead and add in the rest of our recipe ingredients. And we are going to start with 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to just put this directly in. I'm going to actually turn this around so you guys can see as I put it in. There. So, we will go with 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is a 2 tablespoons, so don't freak out thinking I'm forgetting this as we go along. Paprika. 2 tablespoons of paprika. And you know, I will say this too, guys. I'm not a huge paprika fan, and as you go along with canning or even new recipes, if it calls for ingredients that you've not, used in the past, or you're not familiar with, or maybe you've not ever had good luck with for whatever reason, go ahead and give it a shot a few times, because a lot of times it's about how spices interact, boy, that was barely going to do it, how they blend together to give you a different flavor. So, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of paprika typically, but I'm going to trust that in this recipe with all these high acidic foods, low acidic foods, and with the basil and chili powder, that all this is going to come together pretty good. We're going to go with 1 tablespoon of chili powder. So just be brave whenever you cook. If it doesn't turn out right the first time, give it another shot, or maybe tweak something whenever you go back to do it again. 3 teaspoons. All right, here we go. Half a teaspoon. We'll just do 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was half a teaspoon. So we've got our 3 teaspoons in there of our salt. Now we need 3 teaspoons of our basil. And I didn't have any fresh basil on hand, and honestly I wasn't going to go pick any up. And I mean, I really try to use what I have on hand for the most part. So, 1, 2, alright, now our basil is in. And the last thing it calls for is black pepper. So, all of this is in. Our peppers are ready. So I'm going to go ahead and fold those in to our pan, and then we're going to let this cook down for just a few more minutes. In the meantime, you're going to see us go ahead and move the pressure cooker back on the heat. I heated it up a little while earlier while we were doing the jars. But it's time to get it back. I don't like it again at a full boil, because you do put your jars directly down in the pressure cooker, and I don't like the risk of the burn. Alright. Ooh, I hope you can see that. I hope it looks as good to you as it does to me. I wish you could smell it too. All of the fresh foods, it's just really like real food. It's just nice to have something that you grew yourself, like the peppers that you saw me put in. I don't buy peppers very much unless it's like wintertime, so all of these were just things I grabbed from the garden, and I cut them up and now they're in. But fresh food just really does make a difference, and I do hope that whenever you try your first canning experience that you are going to enjoy it. Alright, I am going to turn the heat down on that a little bit. I am going to move our pressure canner, which I've got 2 inches of water in. I'll let you take a look at that. So the water's in, my spacer's in. I've got my top position so that it's going to be easiest for me to put it on whenever the time comes. I've got the jars ready. I've already got the ladle piece here. So we're going to give that about 5 more minutes and then we're going to be ready to fill. Okay, we're back again. We let this simmer a little bit. As you can see, it's thickened up quite a bit. Still super hot and everything is all blended together. Canner is back on the heat. Not super full boil yet because I want to make sure that it's safe enough for me to put my jars in there, but I want to let it be starting to heat up so that it doesn't take as long once our product is in. So now we are just going to ladle in our mixture. The recipe said we need about a 1/2 inch head, and so I'm probably not going to measure that off just because I kind of like leave it a little bit low anyways, just for safety's sake. That one may end up having a little bit taken out of it, but I'll wait till the last jar so I know if I need extra space in something, or if I need to fill one up that's closer to the end. We're going to fill these, then we're going to wipe the lids. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that for you. So always, whenever you get done filling your jar, always wipe the lid down before you put your lid on to seal. That, and then you're going to put your ring on, just finger tight, like so. It doesn't have to be super tight, but then it is ready to go in your canner. So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to finish the rest of, filling the rest of these, and then we'll start the canner. Alright guys, so here are our jars. They're all in. This canner is tall enough that I could have double layered it if I'd wanted to, but I just didn't have that much product today. So we've already got a pretty good little boil going, and all of our jars are in. So now I'm going to step back and put the lid on. And then just push that. And as you see, we're already going to start to get some build up. You saw our little top piece come up here. I'm going to get the pressure regulator. Oh, I knew I had it. And we're going to turn up the heat a little bit because I know, based on my user manual that came with the pressure cooker, what our pressure needs to be. And and I'm basing it on 8,000 feet altitude. And that's going to be, you can Google that to find out what your altitude is at your house. But it's 6,000 to 8,000 feet is one, and then 8,000 and above is another. But our processing time again is 15 minutes, but that does not start till we get to our pressure point. So we're going to watch our gauge, and you'll start to see it move here in just a couple minutes. You can see it move a little bit now. So we'll watch that. I'll keep the heat pretty high until we get there, and then I'll start backing it off a little bit so that we can stabilize. So our pressure regulator just started to make its noise, and I want you to see we are right at 14 for our PSI. So we're where we need to be. Don't ever go off and leave this. Like, you have to constantly monitor it because the pressure can increase if you don't keep the heat right. So probably in about another 3 minutes or so, I'll probably, actually not even that long. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit to keep it from going too high. I'm also going to start my timer now because we are officially at our pressure. So we're going to do this for about 20 minutes. When I'm done, I turn the heat off and I leave it. Then you can leave it. Here's the thing, you don't ever want to open that pressure canner whenever it's still this hot. So you wait till the pressure gauge reads 0 again before you try to open that. Super dangerous if you don't. That's when it can explode. That's whenever the top can come off. That's when you can get burned. So once, I'm turning this down a little bit again. Once you've done your 20-minute time period, just turn it off and then leave it. It can take upwards of 2 hours sometimes before that pressure is completely gone. Don't worry about it. The food is sealed. You'll need to set that out on your counter on a towel because it's going to be really super hot. You want to leave that for 12 hours before you do anything with it. If you start to hear the pops, that's pops of success. If you have a jar that doesn't seal, you'll know, so after your 12 hours, if you can push the lid in, it didn't seal right. Go ahead and put that in your fridge. It's still perfectly good to use. You just don't want to store it for later. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really have enjoyed this. I hope that I've given you some confidence to start canning yourself. Start easy. Call me with questions. But please, feel free to call me. Again, my name is Gidgett Sweazy, KSU extension 859-583-6623. Or you can reach me via email, gidgett.taylor@kysu.edu. Thank you so much.